YouTube is something of a battleground as creators clash with each other to make the next big cash cow, like Minecraft or Five Nights at Freddy's or Poopy Playtime. But today, I won't be dissecting the ever-growing violent landscape of YouTube as a whole, or be covering anything I just mentioned. Today, I will be lining out the entire Skibidi toilet story, from their first sightings to the destruction and death that they've caused. For today, and today only, I will be taking the sad world of Skibidi Toilet as seriously as I can, despite how stupid it is, starting with episode 1. And for the adults watching, take a shot every time I say Skibidi. The first view of this world that's destined for the worst is small scale, being confined to a single room, in a single house, with a single toilet. As a head pops up and sings "Give It To Me" mashed with Skibidi Bop, and that's it. That's all we start with. As you'll see, it'll descend into something much worse. With episode 2, we get two firsts and onlys for the entire series, urinal Skibidis and a woman Skibidi who sings the lyrics of "Give It To Me." And this is the only time we ever see either of these things, before the girl Skibidi Toilet goes to what I can hope is a better place, while the Skibidi urinals enjoy their last milliseconds of screen time. This is where people's interest in the series begins, as it goes larger scale, showing human civilization being threatened by the Skibidi toilets, as now they've gained the ability to move through unknown means, and whether on purpose or by accident, a new giant Skibidi toilet crushes and murders a seemingly innocent bystander. But look, it's possible we're missing some context, as many aspects here are left unknown, like how is he giant? How are they moving? Another third question. Guess we'll have to find out in episode 4. We begin with a peaceful restaurant scene until a Skibidi toilet bursts into the restaurant with an oncoming group of other Skibidi toilets, when the other restaurant patrons around you somehow transform or get replaced by Skibidi toilets, which was never really elaborated on, but before we know it, you're dead, and we're on to the next episode. This episode is higher stakes than any previous, as the human army roll out to defend the city from the now flying Skibidi toilets who release smaller flying toilets from their mouths. And I'm sad to say that at this point in the series, there's no doubt that the Skibidi toilets are dangerous and must be stopped. Episode 6 takes a step back and shows us a dance party hosted by a DJ Skibidi toilet. Maybe this is a sign that humanity and Skibidi toilets can coexist in harmony. Skibidi Toilet 7 is one of the most important episodes in the entire series, despite how deceptively simple it looks, as it establishes two key factors in the entire series. One of them being incredibly helpful to the efforts of people who are against the toilets, that being a weakness, as when a Skibidi toilet gets their flapper flush pulled up and then released, they get sucked in and become a regular toilet. But just when we've gained that hope, we see a massive G-Man toilet burst into frame and our protagonist meets a cruel fate. Here we're introduced to a new group who have taken over charge of fighting these Skibidi toilets from humanity, and they are the cameramen. Real creative naming, I know. And as they march into battle, our main camera person gets ambushed and once again perishes to an awful fate. A lot of time has seemingly passed since the last episode, as we look around and see Skibidi toilets integrated with society, living peacefully, at least at face value, until our protagonist flushes two Skibidi toilets, one of which were fleeing, and then graffiticizing a resistance tag on what looks to be a memorial for the first Skibidi toilet. It's unknown what caused our protagonist to do this, as the world seemed peaceful, but the peace was broken, and we succumbed to police Skibidi toilets. We begin with what looks to be a religious meeting, which must imply that Skibidi toilets have been around for a long time, seeing as they have a culture of their own, but the religious choir is interrupted by the cameraman breaking in and finally saving our protagonist by flushing the priest, and we'll call our current POV survivor Fitzgerald. Let's see how long he can survive. At this point in the script, I'm already tired of trying to take this seriously, but please just bear with me. Fitzgerald, along with many other cameramen troops, walk towards the upcoming Skibidi toilets and crush two innocent bystanders who happen to be human. As humans are becoming more scarce in these episodes, it's possible that they are slowly going extinct. The camera pans over to fighting, continuing over on the bridge until Fitzgerald hears a Skibidi toilet and proceeds to eliminate it, but another ambushes him as everything seems lost. He's saved by a giant cameraman, but it's not over, as the G-Man toilet appears once again, and fires a never-before-seen laser eye at the cameraman defending the bridge, before sadly putting an end to Fitzgerald's life. R.I.P. Fitzgerald, fly high. After the devastating death of Fitzgerald, the army continues, even having new allies to help the fight, like this camera strider, and we manage to get a one-up on the toilets as a massive and high-power toilet is flushed and killed, but that celebration is short-lived as we soon get killed by an oncoming toilet. This is a short one, seeing an army of cameramen walk towards an army of Skibidi toilets until a brick wall comes recklessly charging through every single toilet and once again killing the entire army. A single cameraman can be seen leading a massive army of Skibidi toilets into a trap, and without hesitation our protagonist explodes and kills all of the Skibidi toilets, except one which ends up getting the best of our POV. Episode 16 shows the cameramen trying to fight this war more intelligently by sending in the camera toilet drone to spy on the scientists of the Skibidi Toilet Society. But it is suddenly discovered by the scientists before the camera feed cuts and a loud explosion occurs. Everything goes silent before a terrifying spider toilet comes out and ends our cameraman's life. This episode shows yet another attempt to gather intelligence, as the cameramen spy on the meeting that includes the G-Man toilet, Skibidi spiders, the brick wall, flying Skibidi toilets, and many others, before the cameramen shoot them down with a satellite from space. All goes quiet, until the cameramen can feel their hearts drop, as the Skibidi faces appear from the smoke and ash, as your allies get impaled and you run away before succumbing to the G-Man toilet. We pan around the now destroyed memorial to the first Skibidi toilet as you watch a giant cameraman get overwhelmed by Skibidi toilets and eventually get slammed by Mr. War. Mr. War then begins to approach you before he's crushed into the ground by something out of frame. And then another toilet approaches, he gets kicked away, and then finally, a Skibidi spider is about to get the best of you before being grabbed and crushed by a titan of a TV man, which we'll call Alfonso. And to celebrate not dying, we now have a new POV survivor, Johnson. Episode 19 takes a step back as Alfonso takes care of 3 giant Skibidi toilets with relative ease, while he's being observed by Johnson and 3 others, who then congratulate him. Alfonso lies under the calm evening sun, crushing 2 Skibidi spiders until the G-Man toilet appears, ready to face off against the cameraman's most powerful force, shooting out lasers at him until he pulls out a shield and begins to make his way towards G-Man toilet. And just as Alfonso was getting the upper hand, the brick wall appears and shatters Alfonso's shield, as well as his arm, forcing him to retreat, but not before the G-Man toilet continues to laser him, and then murdering Johnson. We see a Skibidi toilet that's been captured by the cameraman, and once they begin to interrogate him about the G-Man toilet, he begins to siren as loud as he can, but before they could flush him down, it alerted the G-Man and everyone in that room died. We see the camera army fleeing from battle as a whole brigade of Skibidi toilets terrorize the forces of the cameraman. And just as we believe the battle to be over, 2 brave cameramen climb atop the G-Man toilet and begin to pull his flapper flush up as he begins to be flushed down. But he lasers them and just barely survives his assassination as our POV spectators' eyes hold on a new abomination, the Skibidi hybrid, before meeting his cruel end. In episode 23, we finally see the return of Alfonso as the people of the cameraman army repair and upgrade him, before they're interrupted by some stray Skibidi toilet who decide it's not worth it, but get killed anyway. And that leaves Alfonso to be repaired and upgraded for the foreseeable future. Now this is a big one. We see a cameraman get eaten as another is overwhelmed until our new POV survivor, Action Hero, defeats 2 Skibidi toilets before nearly dying at the hand of a Skibidi hybrid until it gets flushed down by a new ally, the Speaker Men, who easily dispose of any Skibidi toilets in the area while playing copyrighted music. Things are finally starting to look up for the cameraman. Here we get introduced to a new method for disposing of Skibidi toilets, and that's very large speakers that the cameramen and speaker men must wear earmuffs to protect themselves from. In this episode, Action Hero lives up to their name as they ride a Skibidi toilet off the roof into a war zone. Whilst others around him are fighting, he flushes several Skibidi toilets away, even using the head of a fallen camera to take out the last one. But a large Skibidi toilet comes and a large speaker man intervenes, saving Action Hero. But before they can take a breath, a giant rubber toilet is seen being taken out by a brand new speaker kaiju we'll name Gunther. Instead of being an Action Hero's perspective, we are instead put inside a drone, watching as a private Skibidi toilet meeting is broken into by speaker men, And just as the drone is about to be destroyed, it's saved by none other than Action Hero. Here we see what looks to be a Skibidi toilet organization separate from the main governing body of G-Man. But just as Action Hero was caught, Gunther bursts in and saves them while stylishly bitch-slapping the head of the group. We begin with both speaker and camera person alike celebrating the consistent victories recently, before an unstable-looking Skibidi toilet approaches them. As it slowly backs off, a speaker man heads to take care of it before his head comes clean off! Then another, then another, then another, before Action Hero finally succumbs to this cruel world, and we see our POV's full body for the first and only time. Shit just keeps getting worse as the scientific Skibidi toilets have developed a parasitic toilet that corrupts any camera or speaker person it can plunge itself into. And with that being demonstrated in front of us, we then get beaten to death by one of our own. The cockiness of the camera and speaker people lead them to be completely unprepared for the new threat of themselves, which lead to the death of several allies. In this we see the return of Mr. War, more powerful than before as he throws hands with Gunther, and while Gunther did get the upper hand on Mr. War during their battle, a parasite landed on him, and everything was fine. Until... This is the first time we see this cruel world at night, as we see this once powerful army cower from Gunther and the G-Man toilet, who are destroying the city that once used to be peacefully inhabited by humans, before our POV notices something in the corner of their eye. It's hard to believe at first, until this Skibidi abomination runs towards our POV. Just as we think maybe they'll survive, they get eaten alive. In this we get some slight hope that the poor victims of the parasites can be saved, as a corrupted cameraman is captured and the parasite is removed. So if we can get close to Gunther, maybe we can save him. Finally, the scientists of the camera community have done something and made a device which can remove the parasites from their host from a distance. But as it's being demonstrated, the G-Man toilet and Gunther find the lab, and due to it not working on Gunther, the scientist chucks the gun at you and you have to keep it safe before he dies, and you successfully escape with it. Finally, the allies seem to be getting the edge once again, as they throw through this mob with ease. Here we begin to notice how progressively destroyed the city is, as the parasite remover-inator is shown to have been upgraded into a more powerful cannon blast, which helps these two speakers as they neutralize the Skibidi abomination, and maybe, just maybe, it can break Gunther free from his trance. Here it is, the perfect moment to strike. The cannon is primed and Gunther is in a perfect view. As the cannon charges up, it fires and hits the G-Man toilet, who blocks the shot and completely destroys the cannon and all of the hard work that was put into it before our POV meets his demise. The war continues on as our allies struggle while our new POV survivalist Paul does some sick tricks on some Skibidi toilets, but just as he's being overwhelmed and about to die, the Skibidi toilet's glare goes somewhere else, looking towards the wind like it's crucial. Until you gaze over and see a new person, a TV person with a static screen as it turns pitch blue, and all the Skibidi toilets in this vicinity lie unresponsive. A new powerful ally has joined the game. We see Paul stand alongside an entire army of Skibidi toilets with only a plunger in hand until he looks to his right and sees a TV man who signals him to step back as he's given a lens to put on his camera before a giant 5-screen TV man walks into frame and decimates all of the toilets in the area. As a large group of toilets approach, you're signaled to place your lens on as you see the army in front of you freeze in fear. You take a moment before slowly turning around behind you, only to see a TV man kaiju, who are named Lambda. As he towers over the army, a bright red light displays into all of their eyes, causing every single Skibidi toilet there to kill themselves to stop the pain that this bright red light is inflicting. This episode marks the parasite removing gun as useless, seeing how the TVs are able to do it themselves. 43 starts with Paul and many other cameramen sitting back and allowing the TV people to take care of the Skibidi toilets approaching, until they realize their rays are being blocked by sunglasses the Skibidi toilets have now, leaving the TVs to up and fuck off and Paul and the others to fend for themselves. This episode shows the true capabilities of Lamford, as he squares off and beats a technological spider-looking Skibidi toilet before receiving an on-site upgrade to shatter the glasses of the Skibidi toilets. But just as everything seems peaceful, we see Gunther in the distance, slowly heading towards us. We get plunged straight into the action as Paul watches these massive Goliaths duke it out as the soldiers on ground cower. Luckily for us, Lamtha wins this battle as Gunther retreats. 46 shows the ruined world in the light of day as Lamtha chases after Gunther as he gets stopped by a vacuum toilet that he easily dismisses. Lamtha continues following Gunther before an upgraded G-Man toilet appears before him, but Lamtha takes his lasers like it's nothing and he actually begins to have the upper hand on the G-Man toilet until a surgeon toilet flies over and cuts several of Lamtha's upgrades off, weakening him. But as the surgeon gets destroyed, Lamtha pulls G-Man toilet to him, and just as G-Man toilet is about to meet his end, Gunther steps in and stabs Lamtha in the screen, and he teleports away just before a parasite gets him. And now with him gone, the G-Man toilet finally ends Paul's life. This one takes a step back and once again shows us a ground level view of this horrible world, as this group of cameramen take care of these Skibidi toilets quite easily, until a sword toilet appears around the corner and mows through every single one. Things are going even worse for the people in street level as our new POV, who we'll call Leo, is about to be torn apart by a surgeon toilet, before a new TV woman, which we'll call Galactica, appears before him and eliminates a shit ton of Skibidi toilets before teleporting him back to a new area. The base has been found and the Skibidi toilets are trying to raid it while Leo walks out there dramatically for some reason. But before he can die, we finally see the grand return of Alfonso. After 27 episodes, Alfonso is back with a cool ass hammer and several upgrades. He mows down the Skibidi toilets with absolute ease. This one takes a POV of Alfonso as he demolishes many Skibidi toilets and drops Leo on a rooftop. Once again, a new perspective of a camera that's about to be killed by a cleaver toilet, until Leo, Alfonso, and a new camera lady, Jackie, show up and save you and many other of your fallen friends. We see the whole gang taking back many parts of the city before a new, more intelligent enemy shows up and kills a speaker man before being scared off by Alfonso as a massive cannon is being marched into the city. It took Skibidi toilets this long to finally start showing humor, as our POV caresses the face of the Skibidi toilet before flushing it down. And whilst that's happening, the corrupted Skibidi toilet makes a return and flies into Galactica before she freezes it in its tracks and eliminates it. And after that, the camera slowly pans to show how the war is just getting started. After watching through Skibidi toilets several times, I can't say, yeah, I actually enjoyed that, like, quite a lot. I mean, it was tiring, but it wasn't bad. And taking it seriously was really fun, despite how silly it is. And this series definitely has potential to be something even better than it already is. But anyway, like and subscribe, join my Discord server, blah blah blah, and I'll see you next time. Bye!